Hi, I'm Susan.
And I'm Mariette.
And today, what are we doing?
Today we are making a healthy version of a banana nut muffin. I don't tend to do banana nut loaves because they take so long to cook. Plus, it helps me with portion control to have muffins rather than loaf. In theory, I'm not actually sure how well that works in practice, but I might be fooling myself. So we're going to be using spelt flour in place of white flour. I really like using spelt because it's a whole grain flour that is it's a much lighter. It's related to wheat, and but it's much lighter than whole wheat, and so you can substitute it 1-to-1 with bleached white flour, and have a really nice result. So we've got the spelt flour right there, and use whole spelt, not white spelt. And then we're gonna have our baking powder, and our baking soda, and our flax seeds, and some cinnamon, and a little bit of salt.
What do the flax seeds do?
So the flax seeds are to give it a little extra fluff.
Oh, okay.
It's quite, because there's a lot of liquid in it in order to make it really banana-y. And because I like to use honey instead of sugar, it's often used in place of eggs, so it serves a very similar purpose. And so you whisk together the dry ingredients so they're all really well combined. If you have clumps, actually I do have some clumps. Clumps are not good because it's usually the baking soda that clumps up, and then you're going to get a nice little bite of baking soda in your food. Here I've got some beaten eggs. Okay. And I know I said that the flaxseed is often used to substitute.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, why are you using eggs if you're using flax?
Again, because it'll be really dense otherwise. Okay. And all these things are to add sort of extra lift, extra lightness, and so that even though it's still quite moist, it doesn't have that dense, like I'm a doorstop thing that you get with if you're using whole wheat flour. Then I add the honey.
And you're using honey instead of sugar?
I use honey instead of sugar. You can also use agave.
Okay.
And a dash of vanilla. And then 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. So now what we're going to do is we're going to combine the wet into the dry ingredients. While spelt doesn't have as much gluten as wheat does, it does still have some. So like with wheat, you need to be careful of over-mixing.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that because I was watching that there's an awful lot of liquid, and I tend to want to really incorporate, but it would be a lot heavier.
Because all you're doing there is you're really whipping the gluten up, and it really activates it and gets it going.
So
and you get a more chewy bread product that way.
Yeah, I don't
and the point is we're trying to make it nice and light. So then, before it's completely incorporated, so it looks about like that.
Okay.
I add in the walnuts.
And is that so that the nuts won't sink down completely to the bottom?
No, that's so that I'm not over mixing.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got to mix the walnuts in, but I don't want to completely mix before I do that.
Oh, okay. See, I don't usually use nuts in baking, so I'm not quite sure. I always assume that you have to coat them in flour or something so they don't sink.
No, that's blueberries and blackberries that do that, because then they will dye the batter blue.
Okay.
Okay, so that's about done. Just do a little test to make sure I don't have any white bits on the bottom, and I don't. Okay, go ahead and bring the pan.
Okay, and you want them filled
maybe start with the one that's been completely.
Do you want these filled to the top, filled halfway,
filled to the top?
2/3? Okay.
Well, maybe just like an 1/8 of an inch below.
Sure. Is that high enough? Do you need me to tap it
down?
Or?
No, we don't tap it. So you can't see really from where you're standing. So I'm putting these in, and I'm trying to push them, back so they're really in the center of the oven, so they bake more evenly. So now we've let them set for about 5 minutes in the pan, and now we're going to knock them out so that you can see. Just kind of, and you let them cool on the racks, and then you eat them.
Okay.
Cheers. Still a little hot.
These are really delicious. And I guess, you know what? because they are so moist, I really don't mind the nuts. Okay, so that's the answer.
Victory! Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us this week. And we'll see you next week on Wednesdays when we post on our YouTube channel. And you can also find the recipes on our website.
Yeah.
So enjoy.
Enjoy.